time is now 7 o'clock, and I'll call this meeting to order. Has it been posted?
Yes, it does.
Roll call will show that all 5 board members are here and both student board members, and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any communications?
Yes, this week is School Board Appreciation Week, and I'd like to thank our 5 board members for their dedication and service to the Greenville community and ensuring exceptional experience for our students. Rob, Tasha, Kristen, Brian, and Kathy have invested in this public work, and I'm grateful for the sacrifices they've made to leading Greenville schools. There is a small token of appreciation for the last team. Congratulations to Kathy Vincent on her election to Regional Director for WASB Region 11 last week, Thursday, at the fall meeting. And there will be some additional information as part of the agenda in a little bit. Greenville High School had a successful and spirited homecoming week, culminating with over 600 students participating in events at school. Rehearsals are underway for The Play That Goes Wrong, which shows on November 7th, 8th, and 9th. Tickets will be available soon. And in September, the district received a number of donations which will benefit the athletics program. This includes a donation for $540.28 toward the weight room renovations by Tim and Katie Morrisfelder. Thank you, Tim and Katie. The 2025-26 Greenville Camper Athletic Booster Club will receive the following donations: $500 from Tracy Sundquist Griffith, $250 from Judy Ostrick, $250 from the Cromwell family, $250 from Ethan Maximus and Megan Ward, and $250 from Shannon Christensen. Thank you to each of those donors for their support of the Greenville Camper Athletic Booster Club.
Thank you. We'll move on to student updates.
Since their interest meeting, DECA has had their first official meeting introducing students to community service initiatives and serving students starting their booster year. The robotics team has been engaging with students at the middle school in a workshop, letting them interact with tools and topics like the tools. The girls tennis team won the conference championship, and the girls golf team qualified for sectionals. The cross-country team ran at UW Parkside on Saturday and they're now preparing for their meet at Fox in the Park. All the UW's had a few meetings with additional papers due on the 9th. The student council also sent out the paperwork to the class representatives for the class.
All right, thank you. Moving on to comments or questions from visitors. I'm not seeing. So we will move on to approving last meeting's minutes. Looking for motion.
I move approval of the September 15, 2025 meeting minutes as presented in agenda item 1.1.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Looking for a roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And I'm yes, motion passes. Moving on, we need to approve the high school pool search team.
We saw this proposal at the last meeting. We did the final, and there's no change to the total expenditure, and the administration recommends approval of the request to the research team.
All right, thank you. So you are looking for a motion.
I move approval of the proposal for $169,359 for the pool search tank room renovations of Seltzer Orange Construction Company as presented in agenda item 3.1.
I second.
All right, if there's no questions or comments, we'll do a roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm yes, motion passes. Moving on to the summer school report.
I will turn it over to Chris for a brief summary. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa, and thank you to the board once again. It's good to see all of you. I'll draw your attention to the board report, the summer school report that you should have this evening. We completed another successful summer this year of summer school. The primary administrators this year were myself, during that time. Jenny Hensey and Sandy Kirasis from the high school, both of the APs, focus on day-to-day operations and planning for the high school summer school as well. As stated in the report, we had a total of 837 students this year. In grades K-8, there were 464, and there were 373 in grades 9 through 12. I think one of the hallmarks of our summer school offerings over the past few years we've been able to offer, especially at the high school, in-person hybrid virtual options, and K-8 is still primarily all in-person, but flexible offerings at the high school for success. And as you kind of move down the report, it goes through the K-8 class offerings and enrollment. So K-5, K through 5th grade classes are cohorts this year. Down below you will see what the cohorts are. What that basically means, as we've done in years past, is the student is enrolled in the middle school classes. So in first grade, for example, one of the cohorts would be part of math. And as you move through the report, you'll see the total number of students who enrolled at the K-5 level, and then also at the 6-8 level, with the middle school enrollments as well. And then we'll move over to the high school enrollments plus the credit impact. And what that essentially means is how many students earn, or how many students enrolled, and how many students actually earn credit. And in the high school specifically, we'll have 3 years. So and then down below on page 3, you'll have the original courses as well. And then I'll draw your attention to the ideas for the 2026 summer school session. I think something that we're considering based on how the calendar is following this year is to consider options for July 4th. So in years past, we've always had 1 week off for summer school during the 4th. Because it's on the weekend this year, we're kind of playing around with possibly doing that again with other options as well. Maybe a shortened time on it, and you'll see the bullet points on page 3 and on page 4. Other things that we would like to consider and note that we'd like to still, for K-8, offer programming at 2 schools. This has worked well for us in the past and provides the necessary space for us to complete the programming and offer it. And as in years past, we do anticipate having programming everywhere in the school. For K-12, we are always looking at revising and tweaking the registration process. As we move to different campus, and the campus has been great. But every year, there's sometimes some cut snappings that we have to look at and how we can possibly move very district families as well and make it more accessible to parents. And then at GHS specifically, there was a new offering this year, hybrid ALEX math offering that went over very well, and it allowed more students to earn credit, and in some cases to have credit recovery as well in the summer. And then at GHS, there was a bit of a dip in the enrollment for the AP workshop and summer traits, but we would like to keep those going, next year, and both of the team there will be extremely good. So with that, I'll take any questions that you have. Thank you again for your support of summer school and like something that the community just values. And we always give you feedback.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just one quick one for you. So I know that you had a couple different models for looking at next summer's scheduling, and with one of the options, it has a full week off after July 3rd, and then it has 9 through 12 extending the 5th week. Would they have to go another week after that if they're taking the whole week off?
Yeah, so typically K-5 or K-8 is 4 weeks of summer school, and so no matter what option you pick, you have to build in an additional 5 days for us. So this year was the same thing where we did have that full week off in high school.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to student survey results.
This is new annual report on the middle school and high school different student surveys, and I'll let them share with you if they would.
We give surveys to be just one of many sources of feedback, and that feedback that we get allows us the opportunity to give us ideas, further engage our staff, our students, and our families. This is the first look that we've had at this year's data, which was given just last month. And so the students just took this a week ago. We had just over 700 respondents at the high school, and I picked a few slides. Ray and I picked a few slides to be consistent to talk about what some of that output was from our students. The first two slides come from school climate, and it compares last September when we gave the survey to this September. And so from last year at this time to now, 57% to 63.4%. The increase said that the mood at their school is positive. If you take students who, the 22% of the students who said it's not negative or positive, which I'm not sure how to take that as a teenage response, but I would take that as somewhat neutral. We get that up into the 80s as far as the mood and climate at the school. Only 7.2% said somewhat or very negative. Second question was, how fair are the rules at the school? And since we've had some changes this year, this is an important one for us. Although it only went up for 45 to 45.3 as extremely or very fair, another 41.1% of our students said somewhat fair, and that only left a little over 13% saying that the rules at the high school are a little fair or not fair at all. We had grade level meetings to start the school year, and we had three big focuses as far as rules/behavior and expectations that came into play around attendance, especially around tardies. Our efforts to reduce vaping violations at the high school, and also cell phones, that cell phones are not present during the school day. So we did come out with the three pretty major things that have been a focus for us, and I think that also can play into how fair are the rules of the school. But in this next section here, I will talk a little more about that as far as feelings of fairness versus how well we're communicating these changes. So I'll continue then. So now as you look at school climate then, the things that we are doing at the high school, we're continuing our 5 Ps work. We're especially focusing around punctuality with the attendance efforts that I talked about, and also phone free. We've also have launched our Overcoming Obstacles curriculum, which has tiered lessons and skills for students that are placed by grade level. And finally, Sources of Strength, something you've heard about quite a bit in the last few years. That showed 70 student leaders in our school getting together with their belt advisors last week and working on things that would increase the students' sense of belonging in their school. So the next two slides talk about that sense of belonging. And the question is, how much respect do students at your school show you? From last year at this time, 39 to 40.9% said a huge amount of respect or a lot of respect. But if you count they show me some respect, we are up at 86.3 students that feel they get some, a lot, or a huge amount of respect at their school. The other sense of belonging question is, how much do you, when you are at school, how much do you feel like you belong? That stayed flat, 53% to 53%. Once again, if you add in the belong somewhat, you're up into the 84.3%. So as we talk about sense of belonging, we're really trying to get at sense of belonging in the school around relationships and also being at school and attendance. And so the things that we are doing is we're continuing all of our improvement focuses on our Tier 1 instruction, what happens in the classroom when all the students are there, and what does that teaching look like, what do the academics look like, but also targeted Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports for students who need something outside of the Tier 1 universal instruction. We also continue our student equity team, which celebrates the diversity of our school body, our student body here at GHS. We have Flex that is continuing, and that gives some benefits of an adult-student relationship outside of the normal teacher-student relationship during class period. And then finally, our SAIL goal, all aligns with everything I've been saying quickly here, is our SAIL goals are around academics, attendance, and sense of belonging. And we've shown that through some strategies. One called thresholding, where it might sound simple, but 80% of our teachers are outside their doors before every class, greeting the students into the class and giving them the initial thing that they'll be working on, and a lot more visibility from both teachers and administrators in the hallways. So those are just a few of the things that we're doing around sense of belonging. And just because the high school survey chose to include cell phone data, I just wanted to point out 3 things. So as we really were talking with students about cell phones, we asked 3 questions that I'd like to highlight. How clear are those school rules around student cell phones? That's what we can really strive to be, right? Clear. And last year at this time they said 61%, and then this year it went up to 74.1%. If you choose to think that somewhat clear is positive, we're up to 95%, which I think is a great number. The second question that we asked is how do most students follow those school rules about cell phones? And we can get that up to 80.1% with the positive responses there. So I think that's huge for something that students feel very passionate about, how they feel that the rules are clear and that most students are following them. And then a question that's really important to me on my last slide here is if an adult sees a student that's not following the rules about cell phones, how likely are they to intervene and say something? 94.6%. And so it's been a huge piece for us. The students have responded really well, the teachers have responded really well, and it's also that tier 1 instruction in the classroom can happen distraction-free and to the best of the students' abilities. Questions for the high school?
Thank you. Any questions?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Ray Curry, proud principal of Greendale Middle School. We're going to go through similar questions. First one is how positive or negative is the mood at your school? And we had a significant jump in this from 63% at this time last year up to 72.2%. And that's not including the neutrals as well, and a low negativity number of 11.3. Speaking on behalf of the staff and students, we kind of went through some of this stuff recently, and the general quote is, it just feels different at the middle school this year. We have people in the hallways, we have people, administration around on cards doing things, and our staff is fully engaged in making sure that kids feel like they are respected. How fair are the rules at the school? Again, up from 48% this time last year to 57.8%. And the negative numbers as low as have been in single digits there at 8%. Some things we're doing school climate-wise, we've had a strong push of reteaching expectations, not punishing those expectations, but reteaching and going through them. Our PBIS team is heavily involved in what we're doing, and we are committed to monthly assemblies that have started. We had our one to launch the first week of school. We have another one coming up in a couple of weeks. Working on Character Strong consistently and doing some tier 2 things with Character Strong as well. And then we have 13 of our 24 home bases that have our piloting morning meeting to start our day, the first 20 minutes of the day. And by second semester, we should have all 24 classes up and running. And it's really, again, changed the mood and the climate. Sense of belonging, how much respect do students show at your school? We went up from 38% this time last year to 45.4%. Again, a very low negative number of 15.1%. A big thing at the middle school, especially at their age, is that student-to-student respect level is something that we're battling quite a bit. And if you include that neutral number in there, we're well over into the 80s. And then when you're at school, how much do you feel like you belong? From 61% up to 64%. We worked quite a bit on this, on making sure that not only do our students feel like they belong, but understand what that actually means. Student to student, staff to student, those relationships, those connections that they're making. And things that we're doing are working. So next step for belonging, continue to build student leadership. We are starting the student equity team this month. We will have student advisory team as well, and other opportunities such as sources of strength. Connect the Dot survey is a big one for us, so we give out that survey to students, and then they come back with where their connections are with other adults in spaces, and then kids that are lacking, we connect them with people, and then we do a 2x10 where students have an opportunity to connect with staff outside of educational purposes. And then obviously with our Character Strong development. Any questions for the middle school?
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
One obviously this is important work because if students feel like they belong and they feel safe and respected in their school, they're willing to take academic risks and it leads to achievement. And while I know we're trying to move quickly, I do want to give the students an opportunity to react to the data that they saw for the first time. They just give them this credit, but give them a minute or two.
I'll speak for the high schoolers. For the phone policy ones, that the increase in positive reactions is something that I'm not really surprised by because I think that something that the state doing is kind of gradually incorporating more into that. Kind of starting with the phone caddies last year, having that be something that was kind of choosing discretion, and then now it's more of a question. Is doing the phone caddy, I think because some of the students, especially those that are already at the high school, have no experience with the phone caddy policy, and a lot of the phone policies that have been kind of implemented before, they're more lessons to that, especially after they're going to it. Because they're middle school, right, and they're kind of students are getting interactions with that phone policy or other people.
I think also, what I noticed in classes is towards second semester last year, starting to students was more at the beginning of the school year, versus they would be more relaxed in the school year and then kids are used to having it, and then they want physical again, and then they want difficult to adjust. So how do you like set in stone at the beginning of the semester really help working? And also even though at school since a student, having it was a lot more difficult last year because like kids would put it in their backpack and be like, oh, I don't have it, but it was hard for a teacher to work. But starting at the end of school year, so it's like lesson like that.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
So with that, can you explain that, are you guys, you're putting your phone, everyone's required to put their phone in the caddy at the beginning of the day?
Yeah, so when we get in class, we have like passing through and what's relevant, you put your phone in caddy. A lot of teachers have started doing this, put your phone in the caddy, that's really performance. So it's more like you have to have your phone in caddy. Versus last year, they were a little more lax on their phones. They do more do it when you have gotten in trouble for it. But now it's more like everyone has to do it all the time. And you can make your students adjust.
To add to that, I would also say that teachers are probably working a lot more on making sure that students get on putting their phone in caddies because they don't have their phone in their backpack. Last year, one of the discussions teachers did is that they were going to strap their phone out in the locker in their car and then they would strap their phone in their backpack. And I think that this year, a lot of teachers that should respond to that is by saying that they don't have their phone and something that they want to be able to reach out to their parents or whatever now. They confirm that and basically confirms that I know a lot is in a special case scenario. I think that stops students from just flying with people who are doing the test and if they don't have their phone versus
What if a phone goes off in class? Is there anything for that if they say they don't have their phone or something? Right?
I haven't been in a class where that's happened yet. The way I see it is that the phone caddy is kind of like a warning already, so if they choose not to put their phone in the phone caddy and their phone does go off, and that's kind of like, okay, you had your warning, you can switch it, but that's what I'm still having two warnings on top of that.
You're carrying backpacks to class with you? And not that either of you would ever do this, but are you finding some students, if you're have students putting dummy phones in the caddy and then having their actual phone in there?
So a lot of them seem to got more last year, but because we have people in comments, they're actually like looking at the phones now, so it's less like, I think people just put their phones in there. But now that they're actually like looking at the phone, kind of like it's happening less. Enforcement's improved. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, moving on to Kathy and her legislative update.
All right, I'll make it brief. The site is down, I don't know if you guys have gone on the WASD site, but they're doing some maintenance, so I just kind of went on. The student safety and school environment, there is a bill circulating to require the display of "In God We Trust" in public school classrooms starting in the 2026-27 school year. There is legislative action and debate on school safety, including proposed bills on arming staff and debate over discipline policies. Accountability and standards legislation has been introduced to restore more rigorous accountability standards in K-12 schools following changes made by the EPI in recent years. These changes in the past made standards less rigorous by lowering cutoff points on assessments such as the forward exam. As far as school funding and resources, legislative efforts are underway to address gaps in state funding for schools. Discussions around providing grants to school counselors and social workers and providing grants for water filtration or filter installation are also occurring. As far as educator turnover, a new report indicates that public school teacher turnover has decreased from pandemic highs, but remains elevated statewide. However, school leadership turnover has increased in the past year. And then mental health, finally, there has been an effort to reduce the student to mental health professional ratio with new hires and increased enrollment in certification programs.
All right, thanks, Kathy. Moving on to professional development. Anyone has anything to share? I'm sorry, community updates. Yeah.
I would say we have finance on the 22nd.
The Greenville Education Foundation met recently and are looking at ways to expand membership as well as board members and fundraising ideas. So anybody who has an idea on ways to create and make money and or wants to join the Education Foundation should get in touch with himself, Dr. Mizik, or Alex Kibicki.
And the Greenville Gallery will be on February 5th.
And also this Thursday is a Heritage Month event at College Park. So you can early if you're not it.
Now moving on to board professional development.
Three members of the board received WASB recognition. Brian Bach achieved level 1. And Tasha achieved level 3. And now you achieved it. Congratulations. And then, as I reported in communications, Kathy was elected to be regional director for Region 11.
You want to say anything?
No. No, I don't have any, I do want to thank this board for your support. I think you voted for me, I don't know who placed the vote. But I'm really excited for this opportunity and I want to make Greenville proud. So I look forward to this and you'll be hearing more from me about upcoming opportunities with WASD.
Thank you. Congrats. Moving on to the board calendar.
Couple of events coming up next week. Wednesday is the choir concert, Thursday is the orchestra concert, and next week, Saturday already, is the state marching band competition. And then I think that's it. Some of our scale events that board members will be present.
And we will move on to the chance for comments. I'm not seeing any, so we will adjourn